relationships that were difficult because I was so preoccupied with that, or in fear of not falling back there, to be able to connect with my loved ones the way I wanted to. But I can't, the implications and that explanations as kind of brought to my life are amazing. So let me tell you what this explanation is. Bear with me, because it's a different way of talking about this. So in the box, there was one thing which hit me immediately. It didn't take long. When you hear about people listening or coming across the understanding, they'll have different stories. This is mine. And the first thing that hit me, and I remember when it happened, I was at a conference and suddenly I heard something, and it was massive. So the first thing that hit me was something like this. It said, do you know that silence that sometimes you feel, that sometimes you fall into, and it's a place where all is well? Maybe it only lasts a couple of minutes, but you have a sense that beyond your dramas, there is silence. And I was like, yeah, I think I know what that is. Oh yeah, it's nice, but anyway. And then they said, you know, that feeling that you had when you were present at births, and it was like, what is happening? What is this? And you kind of had to get very quiet and just observe and be the witness of a miracle in a humble, grateful way. You know that feeling that you thought, what is this? And I said, yeah, I remember that. Goosebumps is beyond, that was beyond anything that I've ever tried to understand. It was beyond any words, and that was there when my kids were born, you know. But then it said, you know, that time when you were crying on the bench, and a total stranger stopped and said, are you okay? And they sat next to you, didn't even say anything. And you felt like this sudden deep connection with a total stranger, and you were so grateful because he really knew what you needed, and he just came along and asked that question and sat down next to you. And I said, yeah, I remember that too. And you know, and so, and you know this, and you know that, and you know that feeling when you were up in the mountains, and you know, and for, you know, you came across a mountain goat, and she looked, and it looked straight in your eyes, and for a minute, for a second, you think, oh my God, what a connection. And so it kept on and on. And I said, yes, 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 I do know. Yes, I do know. And then it said, that is you. That is the feeling that you've been looking for. That is the beneath the restlessness. There is this infinite, peaceful potential for peace and wholeness, and you were born with it. And then you started to think that it was to do with teddy bear, or it was to do with them as a boyfriend, or it was to do with doing well at school, was to do with moving to England. It was to do with marrying Michael. And, you know, no, that is you, and that is can never go away, because it wasn't born, and it's not going to die. There is a presence that is constant. Do you know, I don't know if you ever think that there is a part of you that doesn't change. Yeah. It's like, hang on a minute. Yes, I'm 54 this year, but there is a part of me that hasn't even been touched by nothing. And it's like, it's a bit, it's not easy to grasp. It certainly wasn't easy to grasp back then. But the content of the box made me just say, oh, I see now. Or I understand now what that is. What that was. All those seemingly kind of random feelings or random things, well, random experiencing, internal experiences that I had weren't that random. So I kind of I don't know if I did a good job at explaining it right now, but when I heard that, it blew me away. And we hear this expression many times, but it really, so much so that I had to lay down for 2 days. I was just like, really? Oh my God, if that's true, then everything is possible. And that it is, I stopped feeling separate from life and from people and because I just felt like the universe had just embraced me, and I melted into it. And I could see, I remember laying down for 2 days after that conference, and I don't know what I heard, but I lay down for 2 days and I was in contemplation of this thing and the potential for love and peace for myself, yeah, and creativity. All these things were like ticking, you know. But not only that, I saw how that was true for everyone, and how that it was true for the whole world. So that actually, you know, all my effort to save the world in my own little way, it actually was in there. So, whew, you know, it's like, that was big, but it wasn't it. There was a little bit more. And the other bit, I didn't hear it straight away. It was kind of it was there, but because I'd opened up already to the possibilities, and I was like, okay, I was kind of sold by them, because I thought this is big. So I thought, yeah, show me what you've got then. What else have you got? As if that wasn't enough. And the other bit that at the beginning I kind of was a bit reluctant, and I thought, really, but okay, I'm gonna hanging here and see what happens with that, was that the only reason I couldn't experience that other beautiful, you know, the wholeness and the kind of my deeper self potential and wisdom, and which is so pristine and perfect, was when I was in my head. If I was in my head entertaining any idea or about myself or the world, any judgment, that was the only thing that was keeping me away from experiencing the bigger one, the bigger thing. The feeling. You know what we're talking about? Everybody wants to have a nice feeling. That's it. So, and it said, so, which was quite bold and a bit radical, it said, everything you'll ever experience, it's coming from the power of thought. your thoughts. And so your feelings, if they're not good, or if they're, even when they're good, they're just a function of your mind, the way you use your mind. It's a function. And I'm like, so I did want to argue with that. And I sometimes still do after 8 or 9 years, because it's so compelling. And because we've been designed to so perfectly to fall into the illusion that what we think is real, because the other second bit, yeah, was just a product of the same amazing, deeper intelligence. Yeah. So we want to acknowledge that. We want to honor that, because if we don't, we judge it and we reject it, and we want it gone. But actually, that the ability we have to think and experience what we think through thought and consciousness is a beautiful gift of that deeper intelligence. It's part of it.